Hey, fifth graders, this is Mrs. Olinda, and I'm here to help you with your math. I had to go in a different way because I screwed up on the first one, but this will be okay. So it says, what is the volume of the figure? And if you watched Mrs. Crowe's math videos, you know that you have to find the volume of each figure and then add them together. So for part A, we know that volume equals length times width times height. And so my length is 13. And I know my width is 2, so I can plug those numbers in. But I don't know my height yet, but I can figure that out. If I know the whole height is 4, and I know that the height from the bottom one from here to here is 2, then I can find the missing height. Let me erase this a little bit. Go over that again. The whole is 4, and half of that is 2. So I need this part right here. And I know that 2 plus 2 is 4, so the missing height has to be 2. Okay, so now I can multiply. So my volume may be 13 times 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And I know that if I can't solve it like that, I can always solve it like this. And write it vertically. 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 52. Now this is not my final answer. That is just the volume of the top figure. So now I need to find the volume of the bottom figure. And it's the same thing, length times width times height. I know that the length is 5 and the width is 2. And I also know that my height has to be 2 if the whole thing is 4. And then 5 times 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And then my volume equals 20. And then to find the total volume, I need to add both volumes together. So 52 plus 20 will give me 72 inches cubed. And so I can type here in the box, 72 inches cubed. Although on this one, it's not letting me actually type that in, but the answer for the first one should be 72 inches cubed. Do not type in inches cubed, just type in 72. When it says explain your answer, you will need to type in that you found the volume of the first figure by doing length times width times height by multiplying to get 52. And then you found the volume of the second figure to get 20. And then you added them together to get 72. All right, part B, what is the volume of the figure? Again, this is a little trickier, so I need to do volume equals length times width times height. So we start here, the length was 18. The width is 2, and the height is 3. So 18 times 6. If you can't solve that horizontally, you'll have to solve that vertically. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. That's not my final answer. That's just the volume of my first figure. The second figure, the volume, I have to do 7 times 21 times 9. This one was a little easier because there were no hidden numbers. So I do 7 times 9 first, because I can do that one in my head, is 63 times 21. And if I can't multiply them horizontally, I can do it vertically. So I'll do 63 times 21. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 6 is 6. Put the 0 as a place value. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And then I can add 3, 12, 3, 1. And so I'll need to add 1,323 to 108 to get my total volume. And I'll use a different color. I like to put the top number as the bigger number. It's easier to add. Make sure you line them up. And my answer would be 1,431 inches or centimeters cubed. And you'll need to type that in the box. And then the same thing when you're explaining your strategy, you'll talk about how you found the volume of one figure and then the volume of the second figure, and then you added them together. Now C is pretty tricky. And the first time I did it, I did not get it right because you'll have to find some of the hidden answers, okay? And so if I do this first one down here at the bottom, I know all my numbers. So the volume equals 3 times 3 times 5. Length times width times height. I have all of those. And so 3 times 3 is 9. Times 5 is 45. Now I can find the volume of my second shape. Okay, the length is not 8. I don't know this part right here, although I do know that this is 8 and this part was 3. So if I added 8 plus 3 together to get the total length, it would be 11. So my volume will be 11 times my height is 4 and my width is 3 again. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I have to multiply 11 times 12. If you're not really sure how to do that, you could always come over here and do 12 times 11. Use your charts. And then I can add, and I'll get 132. And there's my volume of my middle shape. So that's my second one. Now I have to do my third one, and I'll change colors again. Again, I know that this is 5. I don't know what this is, but I do know the whole is 11. So if I subtracted the whole, 11, minus the part I know, 5, I would get 6. So the volume would be 6 times 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12 times 6. So the volume will be 72. And then I would need to add all 3 of these together to get my total volume. So I'll have 132. I liked my biggest number on top, plus 72, plus 45, 5, 6, oh, I'm going to add those together, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 4 is 14. 1 plus 1 is 2. And so the total volume is 249. So that's what you'll want to type in your answer for C. Again, when you explain your strategy, you'll talk about how you found the volume of each shape and then added the volumes together to get the total volume. Part D, what is the volume of the figure? All right, so we'll have to use this. Volume equals length times width times height. We know the length is 10. We know the width is 2. We know that the total height is 11, but that's not exactly what we want. I only want this height right here. But I know that this or this line are the same, and that's 9. So if this line is 9 and the total is 11, so if I know one part and I know the total, I'll need to subtract. The whole thing was 11, and I know that this side is 9, so the missing piece has to be 2. So this length right here has to be 2 meters. So my height will be 2. So it'll be 10 times 4, and the volume will be 40. for my bottom shape. And then I need the volume for my top shape. So let me erase some of this. And I know my length is 12. And I know my height is 9. And I know the width is 4 because it tells me. 9 times 4 is 36. And then I have to multiply by 12. Again, if you're not sure how to do that sideways, you can always do it like this. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 plus 1 is 7. Put the 0. 6 and 3. And then I can add. And I get 432. And then to find the total volume, I'll need to add both of those together. So 432 plus 40. And my answer would be 472 meters cubed. And that's what you'll need to type in the box. And when it asks you to explain your solution, you'll have to say the same thing, that I found the volume of each figure and then added the volumes together to get the total volume. I feel like this one was the trickiest one, and I'm glad it's the last one, because although there are 2 sizes of rectangular prisms, there are actually 3 prisms here. And so it says the figure below is made of 2 sizes of rectangular prisms. One type of prism measures 3 inches by 6 inches by 14 inches. The other type measures 15 inches by 5 inches by 10 inches. What is the total volume of the figure? All right, again, we're going to do length times width times height. I know that these are the dimensions of one of the figures, and these are the dimensions of the other figure. This figure and this figure are the same, so they'll have the same dimensions. And I know that since the height is 14, and this is the taller figure, this is the volume of each of, this is the formula for the volume of each of those prisms. So I'll have volume equals 3 times 6 times 14. And 3 times 6 is 18 times 14. And I'll have to solve that like this. 8 times 4 is 32. 4, 5, 6, 7. Put my place value. 8, 1, and I can add. 7 plus 8 is 15. And I get 252. All right. What I'll need to remember, though, is that I'll need to do this twice, one for each prism. So this one is 252. This one is also 252. And now I need to find that final volume in the middle. And that they give me the formula here, which is 15 times 5 times 10. Now 5 times 10 is 50. So I have 15 times 50. It's a little easier to multiply like this. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Put my placeholder. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5, and then I can add. And I know that that figure in the middle, the volume is 750. And so to find the total volume, I'll need to add all 3 of these numbers together. And I know it's tricky because it says 2, but there are 3 shapes here. So we'll add all 3, 750 plus 252 plus 252. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And your answer is 1,254 inches cubed. And you'll type that in the box. And that was the last question you had for today. Good luck, guys.